Well, folks, as you can tell, we're still getting the beginnings of our new show figured out. We've got music selected, but you have joined us for Streaming Idiots. I'm Tom Sinclair, the host of Streaming Idiots. Delighted to have you with us today. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got an outrageous guest, Al Bunt from Good Shepherd Lutheran Church, is here to talk about and a little bit about Mix Minus and some of the challenges that they face in the church environment, which really can apply to almost any streaming situation. So you'll want to hang around for that. We're broadcasting through that VidBlaster Guys network, and we will continue to. We're in our alpha and beta shows, and we'll be adding more graphics and more of the fun stuff that makes videos kind of interesting. But really, we're nuts and bolts about streaming. You know, what's going on with streaming? How do you do it? What equipment do you use? And we're just starting, frankly, we're starting right in the middle. And we're just sort of working out backwards towards the beginning stuff and then forwards towards the more complicated stuff. And Al brings us some really interesting info today that in fact, he brought us a video of unboxing of a camera that we'll get to in just a second. One of my favorite parts about streaming is that you can really reach an audience that is international. If you've got a passion about something, there's somebody else out there that's got that passion too. Now, it may be a really simple connection. For example, when I first started out, I was streaming my son's soccer matches, and the simple connection was parents of players who couldn't physically be present because they were on the road for business or they were stationed overseas, and we had some parents who would get up in the middle of the night in Afghanistan in order to watch their kids play soccer. So it was very gratifying, and we developed an audience like that. Al Bunt has noticed the same thing in the church environment in folks that are church members and for some reason can't make it to church that day because they're not feeling well or they're out of town, but they can still participate. They can still the choir. They can still hear the word. They can still they won't miss out because they're home or away for a Sunday. And in fact, if they can't watch it live, he's got the ability for them to watch it later in video on demand. So it's that, but the basics seems to be that passion, that heart-to-heart passion of I want to share something with the world, and there are folks out there that are interested in it. And so I have a client who is using VidBlaster, and one of his goals is to have online seminars where he teaches folks how to make shoes. You want to make your own shoes? He's your guy. And the whole world is open up to this streaming now because of the internet and because of software like VidBlaster, Wirecast, vMix, and others. Coming up I don't know if it'll be next week, maybe the week after, we'll be doing a review of a new, I guess you would call it an accessory software that is put out by the folks from vMix that does social media, does Facebook and Twitter and chat rooms, and allows you to incorporate that into your broadcast live from whatever those sources of the various sources of the Facebook, the Twitter, and the chat room are. So that's going to be kind of interesting. So keep a lookout for that. At this point, that software is free. You can download it from vMix. I think it's vmix.au.com, but you'll want to double check that for sure. Well, some of the other interesting things, we're in the middle of a couple of PC builds. Actually, it's a build of two PCs with that i7 hex core processor and tons of RAM and super fast solid state hard drives and Blackmagic, not Intensity Pro, but the Blackmagic DeckLink quads, a couple of those in each machine, and with the idea that we're going to take 8 camera inputs, 8 high definition camera inputs, and bring them in. One machine is going to be dedicated to instant replay, and another to switching and graphics and recording. And so we'll keep you up to date as we get through that process. In fact, we'll probably keep you up to date longer than the process takes, because we'll have those out the door here in a couple of weeks. But if you're interested in talking with me about a specific PC need, we can consult with you, and you can go out and spec it and have somebody build it for you. Or if you're interested, we can build it for you right here in the VidBlaster Guy studios and test it and send it to you. We'd be happy to do that. It's not cheap. I mean, I'll tell you that. It's not cheap. You're paying for the expertise in addition to paying for the hardware. But if you'd like something that's going to work right out of the box, then we'd be happy to talk to you. Our special guest today, Al Bunt, is the internet video streaming guru of the Upper Northwest. He is at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church and has been doing streaming there for 4 or 5 years. Well, let me bring Al in. Let me get some audio on you. Al, you there?
I'm here. How you doing?
We didn't lose you in the green room. I hope you didn't eat up all the grapes and drink all the champagne that we have there.
They're gone.
It's all gone. Fortunately, folks, it's a virtual green room. We really didn't have grapes and champagne, so Al was just fudging. Al, really do appreciate the video that you shared with us earlier in our first segment of that VidBlaster Guy. And folks, if you want to, you can check us on YouTube and watch that video. Al does a complete tour of his setup there at Good Shepherd Church and talks about how they do things and how they've evolved over the years. But Al, I understand you have a new addition to the video tech family at Good Shepherd.
Well, I consider myself the streaming idiot number 2.
Folks, he put that graphic up there, not me. Here are my hands. I didn't have anything to do with that. Oh, my goodness.
I did that on the fly while he was introducing me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Al, you get into this stuff and you get I don't know. All I can say is it's kind of addicting.
Mm-hmm.
And you get into it and you say, well, if I can do this and I can do this, then I can do that and I can do that. And before you know it, you've created this amazing piece of whatever it is that you've got.
It's really been a unique experience of being able to do this on this little screen in front of me with one keyboard, not a whole truckload of equipment.
Right.
I mean, it keeps growing more and more, and I keep thinking of more things to do. And I know I give old Mike Verstega, a couple of headaches once in a while because I keep coming up with stuff that he doesn't want to do, but he ends up putting it anyway. So,
Alan is referring to Mike Versteeg, the developer of VidBlaster, who says that he really does want input from folks, but sometimes I guess maybe he gets overloaded by input, and so doesn't always know what to do with it. And Al is just tenacious in making suggestions of better ways to do things. And I think Mike finally just gives up and says, if I don't do this, he's going to bug me to death. But Al, you've got a new toy.
I do have a new toy.
You have a new toy, and tell me about this new toy.
We initially started 4 years ago with 2 Sony pan, zoom, and tilt cameras, EVI-D90s, and we have a new one. I just purchased a new one this year, so I will have 3 now.
Okay, and this is the EVI-D90.
D90, just one step up.
Right.
Still very low cost, less than $1,000.
Okay.
And I picked this version because the previous versions I didn't have any capability of doing any white balance or brightness or iris changing and all. You could basically focus it and move it, but that was about it.
Right.
Hopefully the EVI-D90 will do better than that.
So that'll become your main camera then?
Eventually, yes. It's going to become, at this point, my camera that's on the far wall that faces east, and I have all these windows here that just blast through here. I can even show you a shot of it here.
Okay.
There's the brightness of the light coming through those windows. And if I turn the backlight off, then this is the middle of the day. So every Sunday that's really, really loud coming out through there. So
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well,
hopefully that camera I'll be able to adjust that on the fly with a couple of button pushes and adjust it for whatever lighting conditions I've got.
uh-huh.
And come the next fiscal budget time coming, I'll be purchasing another D90 to replace the number one camera in the back of the sanctuary, and I'll retire the other two old ones to other positions for different purposes.
Uh-huh. So you'll be using 4 eventually?
4 cameras eventually, yes.
Oh, wow.
The 4th camera will be in a different room in our fellowship hall.
Okay.
That's where we typically like to record our Bible studies.
Okay.
But I'll be monitoring and recording from the video desk. So.
Oh, cool. Oh,
yep.
Wow. That's neat. That's neat. Well, Al has prepared an unboxing video of this EVI-D90. Let me cue that up here. And Al, any word of introduction on this video before we just jump to it?
Other than I'm not professional video talent myself, so I couldn't talk anybody else into doing the video for me, so I had to do it and talk the wife into running the camera for me. So,
but that's the best because that's real, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah, and everybody can identify with real. That's the way to do it. Okay, let me get Al queued up here. Here we go.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Alan from Good Shepherd Lutheran Church and School. Thought I'd do a quick video today on unboxing of our new Sony pan zoom and tilt camera. I have here in my hands here a Sony EVI, what is the number on it here? I forget. Let's see. It's a newer camera that we've replacing one that we've already had, and going to be upgrading to this one and adding one more later. So if my camera operator wouldn't mind zooming in a little bit, we'll get to the unboxing. And I've already pulled some of the materials out of the box. One of them being a remote. This camera is remote controllable via either this remote or a Sony remote that controls many cameras, and it's controlled by RS-232, or a VISC control is what they call it. So we'll get the unboxing here. And let's see. Well, maybe I'll get it out of the box. Interesting how you can fight with a box to get something out of it. Get rid of that. Pull that off. Inside the box, nice and well wrapped here. This is the power adapter. Runs off 110 and converts it down to 12 volts. And I'll pull this out of the bag here so you can see it. Looks like a laptop power converter. This is part of the mounting system if you were mounting it right directly to the ceiling. I don't use these. Pull a little bit filler out here. And there we have it. Kind of looks like R2-D2. And this is almost 360 degrees. It'll pan all the way from there all the way around to there. And it's got about a 70-degree tilt also on it. There's many mounting options for these, but the one I use is just like a tripod mount, just like a standard tripod mount there. The 1/4x20 and a short screw. And I'll give you a shot of the back here. This is your composite video. If you're using S-Video, you use that connection there, which is what the video I use. And then power in right here. And then there's 3 different connectors here for control. I use RS-232, the Visca, so I use these here. These cameras are controlled by a controller I have out on my video desk, the RMB 300, I think it is, and the cameras are interconnected between each other. So what they call it a daisy chain, and they go in one port and out the other to the next camera. And this camera can be mounted either this or it can be inverted. It can mount this way. I have one camera that's mounted inverted, one that's upright like this. This is the mount I use. Basically, it's real simple. It mounts to a standard single gang electrical box or right into a stud. And then this plate mounts on top of that. And then this plate also fits the bottom of this just perfectly. So that's the mount right there. Either like this or like that. And it's got a screw in it and it's too tight and I can't get it. And then the screw mount into the bottom of the camera is a specified length, and I see that mine has disappeared. I'll have to go find, oh, there it is right there. It's a little short little screw. Don't use anything else but what comes with the camera because they're too long. And let's see, standard operating manual. Once you get to using one of these, they're pretty simple. Most of everything is in Japanese, but it's Sony, so it's good quality. Now, for connection-wise, like I said, I don't use these mounts. These are as if you were mounting right directly to a ceiling mount, and this covers it up like that, so you don't see it. I'll put those back in the box. Various connectors and screws for mounting. This little green connector is for the back of this. Put that back in the box. What I use for cabling is I use S-video cable. That's just the way my system is set up. You can use composite video and it'll be just as good. I like S-video because I run long distance with it. This is a 50-footer, and that's I do run one 100-footer, and that's about at the limit of it. It's just the standard S-video cable like you plug in your VCR with. This goes directly to my video capture machine, and this is the control cable. This is also a 50-footer for hooking between camera to camera. Our church has been running online streaming here since 2009 with these Sony cameras, so this is our first upgrade to add an additional camera. Previously we used the camera that's recording this video, which is a Sony Handy, can be into mobile, more mobile use. So that's the unboxing of the Sony EVI-D90 series camera. Thanks for watching.
All right, Al, what a cool piece of machinery.
And who uses VCRs anymore? I just realized that. I just aged myself right there. Yikes.
No, you didn't age yourself. You're just this is just the generation.
That's right.
You know, it's all right. Now I had all sorts of questions as I watched that, and I did a little bit of research after you sent me that video and saw that this the EVI-D90 has a 28x optical zoom, not a digital zoom now, an actual physical mechanical zoom. Do you use I'm sorry, do the 70s have the same thing? You've got two 70s now.
They only go to 16 or maybe not even that far.
Okay. And
so I'm really hoping to get better. I can with the 70s I can zoom in quite well.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example here.
I love it. I love it.
Let's see if I can swing number 2 around here. This is my number 2 camera on the west wall. This is off of a D70 here. And I'm just going to try to zoom in on one of the books in the library here to see if you can. Focus quality is pretty good till right about here. And then we start losing quality here. So I'm hoping the D90s will get better than this even. That's with the D70 zoomed all the way in right there.
Right, right.
So they'll go quite a ways.
So the lens gets what they call a little soft.
Yeah.
But still, that's amazing that you can go from that shot right there all the way through the door. And I could almost read the titles on one of those books. Can you zoom into one of those books again?
Let's try it again here. I'll go a little bit slower here. Let's pick that red one right there.
Oh, yeah.
Can't. It gets a little soft right there.
Right.
But then once you get zoomed in, it's hard to get it centered. But
right.
I mean, that's pretty good zoom right there already. And I'm hoping the 90s will even be better.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Another example of what this PTZ can do. I mean, this is facing almost directly backwards.
Right.
That's my my PA system board there.
Okay.
I'll just slowly zoom across here. And I'll wave at you. That's me over the corner. And then I can zoom all the way up here to the front. One of the shots I use on this, one of my pre-programmed shots, is that one right there of the lectern.
Right, right.
One of the problems I have with the D70s, if you watch the lights there,
yep.
they'll fade in and out. The camera has a hard time sometimes in low light figuring out what to focus on. So sometimes I'll have to move over here and here. You can actually pick out the pattern on that. So they're pretty good. And I found out the other day that after 4 years, I need to clean the lenses on them, and the focus gets much better.
Ha! Okay. Okay.
But this is one shot I use that sometimes during the middle of the sermon, I'll just grab it and slowly just pan the congregation here. We're not very big here, so.
Right.
But this is my toughest shot right here of the choir loft with that big old bright light coming in there.
Sure.
And that's the main reason for the upgrade of that camera. That's where this was going to go, so that I can control the lighting and the aperture of it a little better there. So.
Right, right, right. Awesome, awesome. Now, you know, Al, this really does beg the whole question that folks, not argument, but discussion, the debate that I get into folks a lot of standard definition video versus high definition video. Now, what you just showed us was standard definition. What we would consider the old TV aspect ratio, 4:3 aspect ratio. So you end up with a resolution of 640 by 480. But, you know, golly, that was not bad.
That actually works out quite well, and it works really good on the website because it's just a good size to fit on the one side of the web page, and you get your chat window on the other. So you can fit it on a 1,000 pixel wide web page and keep the aspect ratio and not have to squish it or anything
right.
or anything. It works really, really well.
Right. But I'm impressed by the quality of the video. You know, a lot of folks, you know, us geeky tech guys, you know, we can get pretty snotty sometimes. And, you know, and we're addicted to the latest technology. But here is old, and it is old technology. Standard definition is the TV set of the 1970s, 1980s, 1990s. You know, that was standard definition, probably, you know, 500, 550 lines, something like that. And that's what the specs on this camera are, that it's, you know, 500, or I think 550 lines, which translates into 480 as the height. And that's traditionally called standard definition. But for church services, it's perfect. It doesn't have to be high definition video in order for the message to get across to the viewer.
And it's real
low cost. Yeah.
Less than $1,000 a piece for those cameras. And
sure.
You go out and buy your average HD prosumer camera, good quality, you're going to spend more than that.
Well, and the Sony Handycam that you use to make the video with, probably
that was 2,000.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's old.
Right, right. And now you can go to Best Buy and you can buy a high definition Handycam for, you know, $300-400.
But you can't remotely control it.
But you can't remotely control it. That's right. You can't pan it, tilt it, or zoom it.
I've never tried it, but feeding live video off of those little ones is a little tricky. I mean, you can always record it and pull it off the camera and re-edit it all later. But
and I've done it, and it works just fine. But for your application, you'd have to have, you know, a dozen of them at fixed shots all the way around.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with these Logitech webcams as long as you got them in a fixed position. But
That's
I'm
right.
all over the place here, so the shot looking at me, that's it.
Right, right, right. And if you remember to turn the autofocus off, then you stay in focus. Otherwise, you all of a sudden you realize when your hand goes up, it focuses on your hand.
Let me give you an example here of how quickly these cameras move.
All right.
So I'm to my rear camera at the back of the sanctuary here right now, looking towards the front.
Okay.
And I'm just going to run through my 6 positions here just real quickly. I normally wouldn't move the camera this fast on a stream video here. So
right.
it moves pretty quick. I usually do this in the preview window and then switch it in. But this is live over program right now. So that's position 1. There's position 2 for the close-up of pastor and sermon. The altar. And then the altar itself. There's normally a piano sitting there. It's not there right now. So, but then you can swing it all the way around the back. That's our baptismal font right here at the back of the church. And then zip it right back in front again here. You know, you can move them pretty quickly here. You can hear me clicking the buttons here. That's just
right.
push the buttons
right.
back and forth here. So that's how quickly those cameras move. You can't do that with a stationary camera.
No, no, yeah. Wow, awesome. I think for the application that you've got there at the church, I think you've got the right solution.
I agree.
And it allows one person, boy, we're going back to the same old mantra again, one person with the right equipment can do the broadcast. You don't need 3 camera people to assist you. You've got the ability to move it around as need be, and you're going with tried and true technology. I mean, you're talking about S-video cable. You know, it doesn't get much simpler than that. S-video's been around since, golly, the days of VCRs.
I wish I'd have planned when we put this first together to do it over Cat 5.
Okay.
Because that eliminates noise issues. Because I did have a noise issue for a while when I had too many connections. And to upgrade it now to Cat 5 for each camera is about $300 a piece. So I'm going to wait on those a little bit. So
okay,
we'll keep for S video for now.
And the Cat 5 would basically what? Just convert the S video into a signal that can be transported by the Cat 5?
Pretty much use a balun or a balun
Sure.
and a transmitter.
Okay.
Possibly put an amplifier on it to boost the signal a little bit. Send it over Cat 5, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet.
Okay.
And then convert it back
Gotcha.
at the other end. And there's no noise in it.
Right.
With the S video, like I run my longest run is 100 foot. And if there's any glitch in the connection or if I get a loose connection somewhere, I lose quality pretty quickly. So.
Yeah, we use the balance in our soccer broadcast because our cameras are so far away from where we actually do the video processing that we've got just Cat 5 strung everywhere with a balun on either end, and it's not rocket science. It just works.
If you get the right balun, it'll do the audio too.
Yes. Well, most of our camera guys are teenage boys, and we really don't want to hear what they're saying.
I have a 10-year-old who's the same way. You don't want to hear him.
That's right. But yeah. In fact, we've used that. We've actually the balance that we've used channels and 2 audio channels in each balun, and so we'll hook one up to 2 cameras remotely, and then we've got the other 2 channels for audio, and we've actually used the audio to send audio back to the camera guys so they can hear us and take instruction from us. So that's worked pretty well.
I have. When we do get a video camera set up in our fellowship hall, which is over to the west of us here, I'll need to figure out how to get audio back to the same. I'd like to be able to do audio and video on the same line, so it comes straight back to the box here and bypasses the PA and everything. I'll control all the audio here.
Right.
I'm just going to go with a room mic like we have here in the sanctuary.
Right.
That'll be just fine for anything that goes on in there.
That would probably do it. And now the EVI-D90s, do they have audio?
No.
No,
it's just video only.
Video only. Okay, so you would have to place a separate mic in that room in order to get the. Okay.
Now my other Sony Handycam here, that has audio on it.
Sure.
As a matter of fact, you're hearing me on it right now because I'm running my wireless mic through it back through the mixer. So.
Oh wow. Okay.
cheating a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah.
that way I don't have to use the PA system and have everybody in the whole church hear us that way.
Right, right. Oh, yeah. No, we don't want that. We don't want that. Well, Al, I hate to say this, but we are out of time. Time has just flown by.
We always run out of time.
We're just having too much fun. But what that means is you got to come back, and you can't wait so long to come back again. And I think
Definitely.
your schedule has changed where there's a good possibility we can hook up.
Ideas that I can share of different things that we've done here. We're trying to think of what we can do for Skype here for our chat room viewers, because during our Bible study, a chat room viewer says, "Can I Skype in or something so I can talk to you live?"
Oh, wow.
Because the live stream is delayed 30 seconds.
Right.
I do put the chat room up on the big projection screen, and so there's about a 30-second delay there between pastor asks a question and you get a response.
Right.
So we're trying to put together how to get just Skype audio to come through and mix minus it the correct way so that we don't get any feedback issues between a great big sanctuary with lots of echo in it. We don't want to send all that back and forth over Skype because it'll cause all kinds of problems. So.
Right.
So I have the capabilities here, I think, with one aux channel left on my mixer and that second UA202 for USB control, so I can have a separate sound card in my PC just for Skype. And that's all it'll be used for. And then be able to set up the mix minus on it so everybody can talk back and forth, no problem.
Well, I want to see this. I want to see this because if you can put this together and make this work, there are thousands of churches all across the country that will want to know all about it.
And if I get the audio figured out, video will be a piece of cake. So
yeah.
The video I can handle right now today. So
right. Well, and then you're going to have 5 people that want to call in at the same time.
And then that's a whole other can of worms there.
Yes, sir. Yes. I mean, the success breeds success. That's just, if you're successful in small things, look out. Look out.
Our setup here has grown immensely. I mean, it's double the size that it was when I first started. Double in just the last year.
Uh-huh.
And people coming to me now asking me, what you going to do next?
Right.
I haven't done anything next yet.
Well, and what's happened is you've gone from being fringe or cutting edge to now you're a tradition. This cutting edge technology has now become the expected norm at Good Shepherd Church. That's cool.
Yeah, if there's ever a time when I'm not feeling good or sick or something, or I have an equipment failure, I hear about it. That's for sure. I'm not here. If we don't stream, I get lots of emails after that. It's like, what happened?
Well, yeah, because it's assumed that it'll be that way. Well, we'll have to work on a remote operation project, so you can do it from the bed.
Always use the playout controller to run reruns. I can always do that now.
Right.
So.
Right. But we want to be able to use our phone to control it remotely from 10 miles away or 1,000 miles away.
It's a really good idea because then you don't have to have all the fancy camera settings. You could set it just on one camera setting and stream the whole thing from one camera.
And you can switch cameras remotely too.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
just won't be able to move the cameras. That's my only hang-up is I don't have any remote control outside of moving the cameras.
I bet Sony's got an app for that.
I bet they do too somewhere.
I bet they do that. Well,
now you got the gears turning.
Yeah. That's right. Well, we've run out of time too. I'm so sorry. Al, thank you. Appreciate it. Hang around if you will. We'll be in post show in just a second.
Okay.
Folks, that's Alan Bunt, who is just a guru. If we could coin that phrase, all about him, and in what he's done there at Good Shepherd Church, and just cutting new territory, and we really appreciate him being on the show. I'm Tom Sinclair. This has been another alpha episode of Streaming Idiots. We hope you'll catch us on YouTube and catch us on our other show, that VidBlaster Guy, which we're all live on Wednesdays in the afternoon on the East Coast of the U.S. And that's Thursday morning if you're in Australia, and Wednesday evening if you're in Europe. So on behalf of the whole gang, appreciate you tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.